Welcome to the podcast. John Hancock, American Patriot and Revolutionary Leader. He served as the first president of the Second Continental Congress and was the first governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Hancock also was the first to sign the Declaration of Independence. John Hancock was born on January 23, 1737 in Braintree, Massachusetts. His father died when John was 7 years old. He then went to live with his wealthy uncle, Thomas Hancock. As the adopted son of a very wealthy man, he attended the Boston Latin School and went to Harvard College, graduating in 1754. Hancock worked hard at his uncle's business and trained for an eventual partnership in the firm. Upon the death of his uncle, John inherited his uncle's business at age 27. After the completion of the French and Indian War in 1763, Great Britain was deeply in debt and began imposing harsh taxes on the American colonists. Leaders such as Samuel Adams and James Otis argued that because the colonists were not represented in Parliament, taxes could not be levied on the colonies. In 1765, Hancock was elected as one of Boston's 5 selectmen, an office previously held by his uncle. His political star was rising, and the next year he was elected to the Massachusetts House of Representatives. Hancock found political success with the support of Samuel Adams, the clerk of the House of Representatives and leader of the Boston's Popular Party, also known as the Whigs and later the Patriots. In 1767, the British imposed new duties on various imports and strengthened the customs agencies that was responsible for collecting taxes and regulating trade. The acts known as the Townshend Acts enraged the colonists, including Hancock. As a result of the riots protesting the Townshend Acts, the British sent warships to Boston filled with troops to squash any signs of rebellion. One of Hancock's ships, the Liberty, arrived in Boston Harbor carrying a shipment of Madeira wine. Hancock was accused by custom officials of having the ship partially unloaded the night before officials could assess the import tax on the wine. Custom officials filed suit against Hancock and confiscated the Liberty. Hancock was put on trial for smuggling in 1768. His lawyer in the trial was John Adams, whom he had known since his youth. The trial dragged on for 5 months, with the charges finally being dropped. The heavy hand of the British used against Hancock in the Liberty affair only strengthened the resolve of the American colonists to resist the aggression of the British. With growing resentment against the British control of the American colonies, Hancock became more involved in the Patriot movement and was elected president of the Massachusetts Provisional Congress, a governing body that was independent of British control. The Provisional Congress created the first Minuteman companies, which consisted of militiamen that were ready for action at a moment's notice. To deal with the growing threat the British posed against the colonists, they formed a Continental Congress that represented 12 of the 13 colonies in a meeting in Philadelphia. In 1774, Hancock was elected as a delegate to the Second Continental Congress, where he served from 1775 to 1780. He was elected president of the Congress and was the first person to sign the Declaration of Independence in 1776. He was hoping to be named Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army, but was disappointed when George Washington was elected as the commander. He resigned from Congress and returned to Boston, where he became a major general in the Massachusetts State Militia during the Revolutionary War. He commanded 6,000 troops in the operations around Newport, Rhode Island. He was known for his generosity, helping the poor and those widowed and orphaned by the war. With the American Revolutionary War winding down, Hancock became the first governor of the state of Massachusetts. In 1785, he was forced to resign due to a severe case of gout. Once his health improved, he returned to the office until his death. As president of the Massachusetts State Convention to ratify the federal Constitution in 1788, Hancock wasn't able to fulfill his role due to ill health. When the convention reached a deadlock, it looked like ratification of the Constitution was in doubt. Hancock was brought from his sickbed to give a speech to the state convention. He made a proposal of 9 amendments to the Constitution, which appeased the delegates, and they narrowly ratified the federal Constitution for the state of Massachusetts. As his health failed, he was essentially a figurehead governor of Massachusetts during his final years. With his wife at his bedside, he died on October 8, 1793, at 56 years old. The acting governor, Samuel Adams, declared the day of Hancock's burial as a state holiday. His funeral was an extravagant affair and possibly the grandest funeral given in America up into that time. I hope you enjoyed this podcast about John Hancock. If you want to know more about this man and his life, I have included some links in the description. Please don't forget to give the podcast a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and thank you for listening.